Hello. One sec. So, I read 66 books in 2025, and I filmed a video talking about every single one of them, and it was over an hour. And then I decided I don't want to do that. I don't want to edit that. I didn't like it. I didn't like how I looked. So we're restarting, and I'm only sharing my top 10. Now, I had a pretty good reading year, and also this is my top 10 non-rereads, because I love a good reread, and obviously I'm only rereading books I love. So basically all my rereads were 5 stars. So I'm not going to be talking about them. I got to talk about the new gems that I found this year, and I did find some really good gems. So I think I'm going to go in... I'll go in sort of order. Now, I don't see a lot of people on YouTube with my same taste in books. My top genres are usually fantasy and literary fiction, and then maybe some romance. So I don't really see that mix as much on YouTube, really. So I feel like I have a kind of interesting taste in books. We'll go with my 4.25s, my 4.5s, and then my 5 stars. You can't see everything, but it looks pretty crazy down over here. Okay, let's start with 4.25s. The first 4.25 star book that I read was Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. And I've said this before when I talked about this back in my mid-year reading check. I didn't expect to like this book because I didn't really like Iron Flame, so I thought this was the end for me and the Empyrean series. But I read this one and I ate it up, and it might be because I entered 2025 in like the biggest fantasy mood ever, but I devoured this book and I really liked it, and so I'm actually super excited for the next Empyrean book. It left me with a lot of unanswered questions, and I just really like the character dynamics in this one compared to Iron Flame. The character dynamics in Iron Flame were so annoying, and that's really what killed it for me. I still liked the plot, but Xaden and Violet's character dynamic was so bad. And so this one was way better because they were actually like working together properly. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for where this is gonna go. Next, in the 4.25 section, we have a historical fiction. We have The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I think The Book Thief is a book that everybody should read once in their life. It was so emotional, so good. I don't cry when I read books. I never have, and I've been reading my whole life. But this one had me close. It got me emotional. I was invested, for sure. It's about Liesel, who basically is sent to live with a foster family who are German under the Nazi regime, basically, and their family secretly takes in a Jewish man, and he lives in their basement. And the title of The Book Thief does have a very big significance into who Liesel is. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, who Liesel is like in the book, but I don't really want to get into that. I think it was really good to go into it blind because I knew this was a book that people loved, but I didn't know why, and I actually am glad I didn't, because I was like not pleasantly, but I was surprised by the contents, and I was really moved by it. And then finally, my third 4.25 out of 5 star book was King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, and I put this book off for years. Sorry, that bird. I put this book off for literal years, thinking I wouldn't like it, and I liked it. And so you can imagine my regret when I realized this was actually a book that I enjoy, and then I could have been enjoying it like 2 or 3 years ago when I bought the book. The only thing that kept it from being higher for me personally was there was sort of like emptiness. I don't know if it's because they were like back in the fold kind of world and it was like a shadowy emptiness, but there was something missing. But we'll get to that. I'll continue my thoughts on this when we get to another book that's related, not to spoil. In my 4.5 star section, we have Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. I thought this book was really amazing. I read it in July at the airport. Took me only a couple hours of reading basically, and I ate it up and it was so good. I am going to be recommending this to so many people. The writing style also paired with the actual elements of the story. I loved it. I loved the way he wrote, and I now also have 3 more of his books. I have 3 more of his books now that I can read on my shelf because I got a little excited after I liked this one and bought 2 more. I actually already had 1 book by him before this, but I never got to it because it was sort of one of his less popular ones. I wanted to start with this one really bad. So I did, and now that's like my gateway into Kurt Vonnegut, I feel like, because this is one of his shorter ones. I think the next one I'm going to read by him is The Sirens of Titan, and I'm super excited for that one. So I hope it lives up to how good this one was. And my final 4.5 star is Normal People by Sally Rooney. Oh, when I knew that I would like this book. I knew I would like it, but I didn't know I was gonna like it this much. It was so freaking good. The character dynamics and the writing. The writing is what sold it for me, really. I know that so many people hate on no quotation marks, and I can say in full certainty, full confidence, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even notice it when I was reading it. I know this is like my own personal opinion, but the vibes of the no quotation marks fit the story. It makes no sense, I know, but it just worked. And as you can see, I did annotate this one. I tabbed it a lot. There's a lot of highlighting and tabs in here. Oh, also I did annotate Onyx Storm, but because I thought I was gonna like it, I just did it in pencil. Or because I thought I wasn't going to like it, I just did it in pencil, but I did write a lot in here. And also I don't tab hardcovers. I don't normally annotate hardcovers at all, but I definitely don't tab them, especially with beautiful sprayed edges like this. But yeah, this one got tabbed a lot, and it's just the perfect book to tab because there's so many good quotes. Marianne, I'm not a religious person, but sometimes I think God made you for me. Like actually, if I think about it too much, I get like uncomfortable. I get like, oh. So I understand the hype. The thing about Sally Rooney is this is the only one of her books that like the premise intrigued me. So I don't know if I'm gonna read any of her other stuff. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see. Maybe I feel like her other books maybe will appeal more to me as I get older. Just getting that vibe from them. Now we're moving into my 5 stars. The best books that I read. Oh wait, actually this one was a 4.5. But we might as well call it a 5 star. Because I'm just gonna do it alongside the other book anyway, so it doesn't matter. It was yeah, I'll talk about it when it gets there. First 5 star, Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, the sequel to King of Scars. Whatever King of Scars was missing, Rule of Wolves had it. This book, not gonna lie, low-key a brick. 588 pages. Goddamn. Also, we're apparently getting a new Crows book soon. It'll be like a novella, but I'll take any crumbs. And when I tell you, I screamed when I found out that the Crows were in this. I didn't know. Like, I didn't know anything about King Scars and Rule of Wolves going into it, except that it had Nikolai, Zoya, Nina. That's what I knew. This one was so good. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again, I'll scream it from the rooftops. Nobody does twists and turns in fantasy plot structures like Leigh Bardugo. There is nobody else like it. I've never read anyone else that has a plot that weaves so well together by the end, except for hers. I witnessed it in Six of Crows, and I witnessed it in these books. Well, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and I witnessed it in Rule of Wolves and King of Scars. She has such a distinct writing style in the best way possible. Even when I read Hellbent, which I didn't even like as much. Or sorry, not Hellbent. I haven't even read Hellbent yet. Ninth House. When I read the first book, Ninth House, you could still tell, even though it was nothing like anything she'd ever written before, you could still tell that it was her. So yeah, after this book solidified the fact that I am a Leigh Bardugo stan. It literally solidified that. Next, we have this. I need to preface this by saying I am very stingy, and I think most people are. I'm very stingy about what romance books I give 5 stars, as in very stingy, as in I've only ever given one romance book 5 stars, and I've read quite a few. Until I read One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and this has become the second romance book I've ever rated 5 stars. I annotated this one, but after the fact, like I went back and I tabbed it and then like highlighted like under my favorite parts, but I didn't like annotate it as I was reading it. But next time I read it, I will. I read this at the lake. Oh my gosh, best decision of my life. First of all, Canadian queen. Love that for her. But I didn't expect to like this as much as I did because I read one of her other books. This Summer Will Be Different. I wasn't really vibing with it. Well, I was vibing with it, but then like the characters got together and it was like, it was a 3 out of 5. This 5 out of 5. So good. So good. So good. I will be recommending this alongside my favorite romance book ever, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This goes alongside it. And I said this in the original video that I filmed and decided I hated. It's something about the Charlies, I guess, because Charlie Lastra is the love interest in Book Lovers, and this boy's name is Charlie Florrick. What are the chances? The only 2 romance books that I ever rate 5 stars, both the guys are named Charlie. So drop your Charlie book recommendations. So good. Such a Canadian banter filled. The banter between the 2 main characters is so good. He's so sarcastic and funny, and she's just awesome. So cute. And also, it's not only a love story, but it's also a story of family. Found family, because Alice goes down to the cabin to stay with her grandmother, and it's so sweet. The dynamic between her and her grandmother is so awesome too. Then we got some literary fiction up in here. Well, a classic that I also didn't expect to love this much. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. And I got this in Scandinavia. I did not write in it. I just tabbed my favorite spots. I loved it. The stream of consciousness writing style that this has is so good. It's short. It takes place during one day. And this book solidifies to me that situationships have always been a thing. There was an earth crushing, wait, I don't even know if that's a phrase that people say, earth crushing. There is a gravity defying situationship in this book. Our ancestors were just like us. Our ancestors were just like us. They were going through the same trauma. And it's very interesting because the topics and dilemmas that the characters face in this book still so relevant today, and also written beautifully, done super well. So I gotta read Virginia Woolf's other books because I know she has quite a few. I got them on my reading list. I don't own any of them yet, but I definitely want to after reading this one. Also, I don't know what it is, but these Penguin Modern Classics, I love them. I love the blue. I know this isn't a lot of people's favorite Penguin style. It's mine. I like how most of them have like artwork. I think, or maybe they all do. I don't know. All the ones I see have paintings. And I just like the blue. It's super nice. And finally, my top books. Back to Fantasy, One Dark Window, and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. Now, I said this one was a 4.5. But like, whatever. It's a 5-star duology. If there's one thing you take from this video, it's to read these. So freaking good. I don't know what it is with me having low expectations for the books that I love the most. Here's the story of me and One Dark Window. One day I went to McNally Robinson, saw that a staff person, it was a staff pick, like somebody on the staff recommended it and said it was really good gothic fantasy. And I never read a gothic fantasy, but I read the back and I was like, oh, okay. And for some reason, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went to Indigo and I bought it. And then after I bought it, I was like, am I even gonna like this? Like, I don't really do this style of book. Like, am I even gonna like it? I read it in literally like a day. And I was like, wow, that was one of the best things I've ever read. And then I was like, okay, I immediately need to go buy the second one. And I did. And they were both so good. And I had the best time ever. And I already want to reread them, and it hasn't even been a year. And there's something about these books, I just want to leave the pages fresh. Like, I don't think I want to annotate these. I wish that I annotated King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, but I thought I wasn't going to like King of Scars, so I didn't annotate it. I wish I did. It would have been great to have my documented reactions. So good. So this is going to be a pretty short video as far as Ava talking about books goes, but those were the best books that I read this year. Lives were changed. Of the 66, this was the best of the lot. I read quite a few mid books. My average rating was like just over 3 stars, like barely. So that means I rated a lot of books under 3 for it to be just over 3 stars. Here's to 2026. Here's to reading more amazing books. Reading books is the best thing ever, and I loved it. Okay, are you ready? That was my heating pad falling on the ground. As always, thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.